1 minute till broadcast.
What is up, guys? What's going on? Yeah, everything getting ready for the day. It's a Friday, baby. Pat yourself on the back. You made it for another weekend. That is good news, right? Allegedly. Let's see. Let's get this going on all the streams here. Podbean. Scott, what's up, brother? Well, yeah, we are ready for this Eddie Eagle program. I think so. We'll see if the governor will actually sign it this year. Or if we have enough to, I'm optimistic this year. Eddie Eagle program in Kansas still being worked on. If the governor does veto, I am optimistic that we can actually override her veto this year. That would be good news. We'll see what happens, though. We shall see. Big show lined up today, man.
1 minute till broadcast.
It's a Friday, which means we're going to have some fun. Derek Johnson, he is a independent country music artist and songwriter. Also, he has created his new website, thedocuments.info. Thedocuments.info. We're going to talk about ways to save America. Yeah. We got that. Some other fun stuff for a Friday. We'll try to keep it lighthearted today, have some fun. The TikTok conversation in Congress going on right now. A lot of people angry, wanting to ban TikTok. Is that a good thing or bad thing? We've covered it some.
Till broadcast.
We'll get some updates on those hearings coming up momentarily, and a heck of a lot more to get to. If you are tuning into live streams that are popping up right now all over the place, then welcome aboard. Happy Friday. We love you to death. Share it out, like it out, break that algorithm. Let's have some fun today. Hang tight. Radio program starting momentarily.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Fighting for freedom every day.
Republicans right now, the conservatives, which unfortunately, this is what we have to do every time, even after a vote where people are sick and tired of the establishment, they're sick and tired of the squeezy, middle-of-the-road, squishy kind of Republican rhinos, and we vote conservatives in, then we have to fight tooth and nail in D.C. to actually be heard within the Republican Party.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yes, indeed it is. Hey, what's up? Welcome into the program. You finally made it to the end of the week. Pat yourself on the back. Smile, scream. You scream, I scream. We all scream for ice cream. What a week, man. It's been a crazy one, and it is finally wrapping up, hopefully for most individuals, which means welcome aboard. Let's have some fun today on the program. Broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on our flagship radio station. We are all over the country, multiple radio stations, TV, live streaming, podcasting, however you watch or listen to the show. We love you to death and appreciate you very, very much. Man, we got a big show lined up today. We have some hearings out of Washington, D.C., we have the ongoing battle with the budget, inflation, taxes, that sort of thing. We have Donald Trump still not indicted or arraigned, although he is getting a little carried away on his Truth Social with making threats and rallying people up, trying to do that outcry. But maybe it's working. Maybe that's why they've held off on what they're planning to do. Or maybe they've got called out to where people are paying attention, and now they have to actually back up these substantiated claims against Donald Trump, and it's just not working out for them. So we'll get some of that maybe a little bit later. Bottom of the hour today, Derek Johnson. He is an independent country music artist, also an Army veteran. And he's got a way to save America. Can we get America back on track in this nation? And he's got his documents. He's got ways where we need to reference back to our founding of this nation, the Constitution, 1776, the Declaration of Independence. What wild concepts, actually trying to hold government accountable and limiting their power, which was the entire intent of the founding of this nation. So we'll talk with Derek coming up at the bottom of the hour, and you can start looking through his cool website at thedocuments.info. Thedocuments.info, as he's uploading great information and ways to save the nation on different topical issues, and we'll get him on the program here in just a little bit. Speaking of music, though, he is a country music artist. We'll play some of his music here in just a little bit. I have a new business venture. For anybody willing to invest in this program with me, I think it would be a great opportunity for all of us, and I think it's a great way to reach the youth of America. As you know, the battle for our children's education is huge and extremely important right now. As Donald Trump says, it's huge and bigly. And while we try to fight for the youth of America, we're trying to find the best way to educate them, right? Because right now, maybe the public education system not quite where it needs to be in many parts of the country, not everywhere, obviously, and not the teachers, obviously, or most of the teachers, but it is. We have to make that clarification in today's times because people get very offended and very worked up very easily. But there is a concern with many woke new public teachers coming into the system wanting to talk about sexual orientations and gender identification, all this other garbage, the ongoing battle in Florida. Here in Kansas, we talked about it yesterday with our gender bill. Our minds of our young generation are at war, and we need to get back down to the basics. And I have a business proposal for anyone who wants to join me on this business venture, trying to reach the young generation. And by that, I mean young children's TV and radio broadcasting, trying to educate them in certain ways. I don't know. Have you ever seen, and I'm sure if you're a young parent or if you remember being a young parent, they had the Baby Channel. And the Baby Channel has some really wild TV shows. When you're like half awake, trying to tend to a newborn, and you're not getting any sleep, and you're delirious, and you're watching the Baby Channel on TV, there's some really messed up programming on there that you get sucked into as much as the baby gets sucked into because you're so exhausted and delusional. I remember those days, and there are still some of those songs on the TV broadcast that I remember and I still sing today. Now, Isla, Little Voice of Reason, my 8-year-old daughter, does not remember any of those, but I do. Laying on the couch, watching her in the crib sleep or play, and just like trying not to tip over and fall asleep every single moment. So, and Mrs. Voice of Reason the same way. So, but did you know that those are actually pretty brutal? It's a cutthroat industry, man, trying to get those young child programs on there, and there's a lot of money involved in it as well. So here we are. I have a new opportunity. This was actually sent to me by a good friend a couple of days ago, and I had to play it on the program. But there is a new opportunity for us to try and teach them the basics of education, especially counting. Sesame Street, step aside, my friends.
1, 2, 5, 4. Me count so poor. Gonna count. 1, I can count to 1, 2, I can count to 2, 3, I can count to 3, 4, I can't count no more. 1, what comes after 1, 2, what comes after 2, 3, what comes after 3, 4. I can only count to 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 4.
What do you think? What do you... I think we have a business venture here getting kids excited about counting again. Maybe Joe Biden could take a lesson or two about that counting poorly as well. There we are. All right, welcome into the program. I'm telling you, there is a business venture opportunity there for anyone who wishes to invest in the Hooser Media Network's new children's program on counting and reading. We're starting it up right here on the program, baby. All right, let's get into what's trending for the day today. What do you say?
What's trending today?
All right, so... I'm going to get some emails on that one. You're free to email me, HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts. Andy, what's that angry music? That's good stuff, my friend. All right. In Washington, D.C., over the last 2 days, there have been the hearings regarding the banning of the potential social media outlet of TikTok. Now, I've mentioned this many times on the program, and I may be a bit controversial, and many of you may disagree with me on this issue. However, I am sticking firm to my position of it is absurd, ridiculous, and completely unnecessary to ban TikTok for the general population. I am all for banning for military personnel or anyone with any type of intelligence in our government, in national security issues, and any type of intel on how things work, or even maybe utility companies or public utility companies or wherever that could potentially get access to information that could damage us as a nation. All for that. But for the entire 120, 150 million plus users of the social media app of TikTok, a little bit insane to try and ban it, because it brings up a lot of questions on why they're trying to ban something like this for the general population. And I have to remind and warn Republicans on this one, as much of a conservative right-wing nut that I am, quote unquote, we have to remind the Republican Party here not to go into the selective rage that the Democrats do oh so well. If you know, Democrats are very good at selective rage. January 6th was an insurrection, and we're a bunch of, MAGA domestic terrorists and so on and so forth. But don't worry, Antifa and Black Lives Matter literally burning down entire cities is not a big issue. It's just a mostly peaceful protest. Selective rage. And we don't want selective rage in this nation, especially with a party that holds ourselves to a little bit higher standards than the Democrat Party and the socialists in this nation right now. So we don't want the selective rage like we're starting to hear by some elected officials who are in this committee interviewing the CEO of TikTok over the last day or so in Washington, D.C.
Why, if you had nothing to hide, would you need to downplay the association with ByteDance in China?
Congressman, I have not seen this memo.
You can't
What I
answer
can
that
say-
question. And you expect us to believe that you are capable of maintaining the data security, privacy, and security of 150 million Americans? I think that is a blatant display of how vulnerable people who use TikTok are. You damn well know that you cannot protect the data and security of this committee or the 150 million users of your app, because it is an extension of the CCP. And with that, I yield back.
That was Congresswoman Kat Hammack out of the great state of Florida as the selective rage. You know damn well that you're connected to the CCP, and we're not going to allow this, and we're going to stop this garbage. Okay, cool. I understand it. The communist nation of China, the government may be collecting our data through the social media app of China, and the owner company, the overall company of TikTok called ByteDance, that is collecting that data as well. Here's the grand kicker that some may not be aware of again. Breaking news. Breaking news for anybody who may not be aware of it. If you're concerned about privacy issues, you should not be on any social media platform in any way, shape, or form. Period. If you're concerned about it, and it's China. Okay, what is our federal government doing right now? We have a Biden administration who literally says that Donald Trump and all of his MAGA supporters right now are domestic terrorists, are election deniers, and we've gone through 3 years of complete banishment and silencing and shadow banning and censorship on all of our social media, from TikTok to YouTube to Google to Facebook. All of them under the purview of the federal government right now, which TikTok currently is not. But all of ours are. If you tried to Google anything about Dr. Fauci, you would not find anything except for positive things on the Google algorithms that would pop up when you look for him. If you tried to post anything that mentioned vaccines or COVID on YouTube, you were automatically banned. I know, because my YouTube account has been banned and censored and deleted with accounts over and over and over again. Look at the backlash that Joe Rogan got by interviewing Dr. Robert Malone just a couple of years ago when he was talking about these vaccines and how potentially bad the mRNA vaccine technology could be. If you're worried about privacy, if you're worried about misinformation, if you're worried about the truth not getting out there, then don't get on any social media platform. This is selective rage by, and I get it, mostly Republicans right now, unfortunately, but it's selective rage because where was this outcry in 2001 after the Patriot Act, after the 9/11 attacks? And George W. Bush and the Republicans at that time, and Democrats, all of them, including Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, who tried to deny it later on, passed the Patriot Act to allow censorship and to allow the collecting of metadata. Remember that term? Haven't heard metadata in a very long time. According to pogo.org, despite some of the major reforms, this was written in 2019, so it's a couple years old right now. Significant action still needed, as of May of 2018, 19.4 million phone numbers had been collected for metadata on conversations going in and out. Although this is a substantial decrease from the old National Bulk Collection Program that swept up the full set of call records of over 100 million individuals with a single order to AT&T and Verizon, it is still a massive invasion of privacy. We're not just talking about phones now. We have smart TVs that have a camera literally watching you eat Cheetos in your boxers every night and every weekend. We have text messages that are collected, emails that are collected, cell phones that are just wiretapped constantly, where the government can literally turn on your camera and your microphone right now at any point if they choose to do so, with a FISA court where we have no understanding of what the FISA court does, no understanding of how they actually get these orders, and we allow it to happen. And for some weird reason, we're fascinated with TikTok and the collection of data to the Chinese government. Now, I get China's a threat. I get that China is a communist nation, but the collection that we have in this nation is no better, especially when we have a federal government that right now is politically targeting one side of the political aisle with the intent to silence them, banish them, and to punish them and persecute them if they had the opportunity to do so, starting with the grand old Donald Trump. So is TikTok really that bad of an issue compared to what we're seeing in our own country? The selective rage needs to stop, and we need to be consistent as Republicans and conservatives on what we stand for. Either all privacy is important or it doesn't matter.
There are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform, and we know we have a responsibility to protect them, which is why I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access. Number three, TikTok will remain a place for free expression and will not be manipulated by any government. And fourth, we will be transparent and we will give access to third-party independent monitors to remain accountable for our commitments.
Interesting. We'll break some of that down when we come back here in just a moment. To me, it almost sounds like the government's a little scared of content getting out on social media that 150 million users here in the country are saying that they don't have control of filtering or censoring before we actually see it.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to the Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring the Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Looking for more reason? Well, now you can get even more content from the Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hooser Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HooserReason.com. Again, that's HooserReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. Want to reach out to the show? A big part of the program is you, and we want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts of the show, maybe a guest we've had on the program, or my favorite, when you disagree with something that I talk about. You can email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or send us a message through our website at HooserReason.com. The show's not about me, it's about you. So be heard and be your own voice of reason. Again, email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com or find our contact information at HooserReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. The show's growing all the time, and as we talk about the big issues of the day, one of the big parts of the program is you. And I want you to join us on the program. Whether you agree, disagree, or just want to relieve some of that political frustration, we're here for you. No matter where you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, go ahead and leave a comment on the live stream. Chat with other listeners and let me know your thoughts on the topic. Also chat with us on the Podbean chat room. Just go to our live stream of the show at podbean.com and chat with other listeners. You can also call into the program. Just download the Podbean app onto your smartphone, join the live stream, and call in through the app. This is your show, and we want to hear your thoughts. So go ahead and join us here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network.
Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of opportunities to watch, listen, learn, and be entertained with the Voice of Reason anytime you want. And here's how you can do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HooserReason.com and signing up for the show newsletter to get the latest on the show, upcoming guests, topical discussions, and more. Next, subscribe to the podcast and have the show automatically downloaded to any platform you like to use. You can subscribe to any of your favorite platforms with iTunes and Spotify, Google Play and TuneIn, or you can also go and subscribe directly to our Podbean website. Last, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com, search Hooser Reason, and subscribe to watch all of our shows, videos, and get notified whenever we're live. All the links and info are at HooserReason.com.
For a schedule of upcoming guests on the program, daily show topics, or to reach out to the Hooser Media Network, visit us on the website at HooserReason.com. Or for general inquiries, to be a guest on the program, or to have Andy a guest on your program, email us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Keep fighting for freedom with us every day right here on the Voice of Reason and the Hooser Media Network. Now, back to the show.
Fighting for freedom every day. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Reason, common sense, rationale. Welcome back into the program. Always a pleasure to have you along for the ride. As always, especially for a Friday today, man. You finally made it. Holy cow. TikTok ban potentially in the country. Now, look, again, I get the concerns with the Chinese government. Totally understand it. Do they need to be getting our information? No. Nobody should be getting our information. Our own federal government should not be getting our information. They don't need to see my text message. They don't need to see my emails. They don't need to see my Google search. They don't need to see my house when they tap into my microphone or my camera on my phone. They don't need any of that information, and yet they seem to get that. And while we've kind of, danced around it a little bit when it comes to bringing in Jack Dorsey from Twitter when he actually owned Twitter, and Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook, and talking about them about censoring certain content from the elections and how they actually shadow ban things, and they openly admitted it, and they didn't give any answers in any way, shape, or form of, well, we didn't know it was happening, or we actually don't do that, or that's not actually how it works, or I don't know what you're talking about, or I'll have to look into that. We got a whole bunch of a nothing burger the entire time that they were up in the stands as witnesses and testifying in front of Congress. This guy, again, I don't know that I necessarily trust a corporation from China either, but at least in a 40-second clip gave us more substantial information of what they at least say they want to do, as opposed to what any of our American companies said.
There are more than 150 million Americans who love our platform.
Hold on, I want to stop right there real second. 150 million Americans use TikTok. Think about that. Now, again, there is a bit of a concern for the Democrats and for the government in general that if there's propaganda being spread, misinformation being spread, some type of information being spread, that it could be influencing 150, nearly half of the American population, 150 million Americans across this nation that's using the app of TikTok. And for those that don't know what TikTok is, Andy, what's that? Because the world's changing all the time, and as you know me, I am so not technically savvy, it's not even funny. But nonetheless, for those that don't know what TikTok is, it is a social media app to where it's nothing but little videos, anywhere between 15-second clips to 30-second clips up to a 3-minute video clip. And people just create the content. And it bases on the algorithm of what you want to see. So obviously it's going to censor you, which goes into an entirely deeper conversation of the fact that we live in a world now where outside of the real world of what we look at every day, if you go online in any way, shape, or form, we have the government tracking you. So you're never safe or you're never private in any way, shape, or form. And then you live in a bubble of the content that you feel comfortable with because we don't like to go outside that bubble, which is another psychological conversation to have at another time. But you don't have to, there's tons of stuff on there, from the stupid young girls doing stupid little dances to people doing stupid challenges. Mine is filled with, I got to be honest, mine is filled with a little bit of politics, mostly stand-up comedians, music, like hard rock music, and then a little bit of religious and spiritual and philosophical things. That's what mine is. My wife's is filled with holistic stuff, being obviously with the Hooser Health and her holistic well-being and alternative medicines. Hers is filled with individuals like holistic healers and herbalists and people that actually grow things, and how that's what her algorithm shows. And you tailor it to what you want to see, and then you see that kind of content. But it's just you and I making videos and uploading it onto there. So the fact that the government, our government, is not able to filter content and propaganda from 150 million users of an app like that, to me, that shows that's really one of the main focal reasons why they're pushing this ban, is because they can't control that content, and content's getting out there they don't want us to know, like some of the conspiratorial stuff about the COVID-19 pandemic and Dr. Fauci that we weren't allowed to see on Facebook and Twitter and Google and YouTube for the last 3 years.
And we know we have a responsibility to protect them, which is why I'm making the following commitments to you and to all our users. Number one, we will keep safety, particularly for teenagers, as a top priority for us. Number two, we will firewall protected US data from unwanted foreign access.
What he means by that is actually having a third-party company based out of the U.S., which I believe is named Odyssey is what they wanted to call it, that would actually run the U.S.-based servers for TikTok. Do you believe him? Do you trust him a little more? And is it a concern more so than some of the other stuff we're seeing? Lots more coming up. Stay here.
Reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates, from holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media. The Hooser Media Network continues to grow every single day with new shows, new content, and new information as we continue to fight the narrative against the mainstream and give you the alternative view of the world. The Hooser Media Network is home to great TV, radio, and podcasting programs on any topic of any interest, from politics and current events to religion and spirituality, holistic and alternative health, entertainment, motivational speakers, and so much more. And with the Hooser Media Network, you can enjoy more content from the voice of reason like this. With the vaccinations, with the quote-unquote health pandemic, now that the emergency response is going to be lifted by the end of this month, with the continued forcefulness of vaccines that they've done, are we at the stage in society that you thought that we would be in at this time?
That's a good question. I haven't had that one. I thought we were going to be further along with disclosure of the data and acknowledgement by the government of what's happened here. Instead, what we've seen is the ongoing suppression of information, including public health information that doctors could use to help start protecting their patients from the long-range consequences of these if they only had the data. So what has happened is some really interesting information is popped in the UK that's demonstrated that their lead public health officer has really weaponized fear and manipulated the people. That's creating a lot of blowback over there. And we still have just a ton of denialism, cover-ups and everything else going on. They just don't seem to want to come clean.
That is very true. Now, here's the big question. Is it starting to get leaked out? Obviously, we heard the last couple days the other side losing their minds over, for example, the January 6th videos coming out. There's now an ethics complaint being filed against House Speaker Kevin McCarthy because the video was released to the public for our personal knowledge and understanding and information. Is the truth beginning to come out on this issue as well? Not only with, obviously, we see the origins of COVID coming out, which they're trying to push back from, realizing that it wasn't Ozzy Osbourne biting the head off a bat over in China to spread this virus, but it was actually the Wuhan lab that was spreading this. So that's starting to happen. Will the truth come out on this vaccine stuff too?
Yeah, the backstory on that was that this appears to have been a retaliation because the Chinese government was aligning itself with Russia, and so we decided that this was the right time to really emphasize the role of the CCP and the Wuhan Institute of Virology, while obscuring the fact that the tech was transferred to them by EcoHealth Alliance, and the money to do the job was provided by the U.S. government. So that's an interesting twist. Is the information coming out about the jabs? Somewhat. There's still just a ton of denialism, pushback. The whole propaganda apparatus is still absolutely in gear. The fifth-gen warfare, PSYOPs, is still in progress. And we did have a fascinating article the other day that issued in Newsweek. This is from my friend Scott Atlas. America's COVID response was based on lies. Published on the 6th in Newsweek. This is one of the most frank acknowledgments of what's happened that I've seen. But it focuses mostly on the lockdowns, and I think there's growing universal agreement that the lockdowns were a huge government overstep. Whatever you think about the jabs, whether they're safe or effective or not, pretty much there's universal acknowledgement that the lockdowns caused enormous damage economically, excess loss of life, destroying businesses, destroying people's income and ability to make a living, and for absolutely no purpose at all.
Listen to all these programs and so much more as we try to bring back knowledge, wisdom, and truth back into the world. And we do that right here with the Hooser Media Network, the future of media.
When Reason Meets Radio. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Darn right, it is. Welcome back into the program. It's a Friday, baby, on the home stretch here. Last half hour of the show goes by way too fast, man. Trying to cram that 10 pounds of reason into that 5-pound bag. Trying to rebrand the millennial generation, one radio listener at a time on our multiple radio stations all over the place. Love you to death. Welcome in. Thanks for hanging out. So we're going to shift gears a little bit. We'll get back to the TikTok ban in Congress, the conversation and the hearings that we've heard over the last couple of days. We'll get back to that here in just a little bit. Are you concerned about privacy? Again, my stance is either don't ban TikTok or ban all social media. And I mean all of it. And ban emails and get rid of the censorship and data collection from there. Get rid of the little cameras on your TV watching you eat Cheetos in your boxers at nighttime. Get rid of the censorship of your email and your GPS on your phone. All of it. Like, get either all or nothing, dude. It's a little weird that we're doing the selective rage right now, and I just don't understand it, except for makes a lot more sense when you realize that TikTok, with 150 million users in the country, is the one social media platform that our federal government right now does not have authority over to filter content, and they don't like that, especially with the conspiracy theorists of us during the COVID-19 pandemic. I know, that we're questioning the motives of Dr. Fauci and some of those others with the masks and the vaccines and the isolation and everything else. So it makes sense when you put it into that perspective. Outside of that, stop the selective rage, man. Let's shift gears a little bit, get into what's trending.
What's trending today?
It's a Friday, which means we have to have a little bit of fun here on the program. As you know, we're kind of going from the rock that we played at the beginning of the program to our next guest. Really excited to have him on, as he is a country music artist and songwriter with his song Real Cool Kinda Hot, which is awesome. Can dig it.
She's hair pulled back in a camo cap with a catfish on the line. She's an evening gown, night on the town, candlelight and wine.
I love it. The diversity on this program is outstanding. He's also has his new website up, trying to get the information out. How do we save the country? The blueprint to save America. The blueprint to get us back on track. Excited to have on the program with us here, Mr. Derek Johnson. Derek, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, probably more good than pretty.
I'm telling you.
I'm glad to see springs here in the South. I don't know how y'all doing.
We had 80 degrees yesterday, and it's about 45 today, so we're not quite figuring out what we want to do yet in Kansas. There it is.
I understand that.
Let's talk about your website here and how to save this country, the blueprint to save America, because there's a lot of ideas on what we can do, and it seems to be like crazier every day. We can't quite figure out what we want to do in this nation.
Well, it goes back to the simplicities of anything, like you were saying just a while ago. Either you have all or nothing. How about let's just go back to, a simplicity. Before you and I both, even at 40 years old, I remember growing up without social media. We didn't have it yet. We didn't have any kind of platform like that. We played in the yard. We drank from a water hose. We did things like that. So how about let's go back to simplicity?
Yeah.
And Americans, I've already taken this on the front, so if they get mad at me for saying it, but we got to get back to also where 75% of America right now, 68 to 75% data shows cannot even name the three branches of government. Just name them. Don't tell me what they do. Just say executive, judicial, and legislative. They can't do that. So we're in bad trouble when it comes to, understanding what's going on right now, because what's going on right now is so freaking monumental, historical, and biblical that words can't even hardly describe it. But I've been teaching people the difference in military law and federal and civil, because right now everybody's been watching the most biblical, monumental world operation by the military known to man, and Donald Trump is still legally your president, commander-in-chief by laws and orders that back the Constitution, and they're simple, actually, and I can show you how really quick.
Yeah, let's break that down, because I've heard this theory before of the fact that he's like the 12th president in this nation right now, and that there were some changes back in the 1800s. So for those that have not heard this theory before, talk about what's going on here.
Well, so it's real simple. In March 2020, it's kind of like Texas, not too far down the road from you. Texans love the Alamo, because the Alamo had a hero named William Barrett Travis, where he drew a line in the sand. Well, once they got through history and looked back, they could see that definitive line in the sand was a monumental line. Well, most people, when we get down and we get through this, because there will be a revelation. I've actually been invited. I can actually say this on the air. I have my official DOD regulation itinerary to go to Guantanamo Bay in the summer to witness the military tribunals, which the New York Times reported were coming, not me, but the followers that found me learned about this through me. However, I didn't report that first, but still. So you have to see that definitive line that was drawn in the sand, because people like my dad's 80, Air Force veteran. He was like, we've had laws and orders. They haven't been applied or upheld for years. I said, I get that. However, there was a line drawn in the sand, Dad, and let me show you where it was. And when I showed it to him, and then knowing how the National Guard operate, once people see that picture, but that's the first thing they have to be receptive of, is understanding that military law and military came first in our nation. And we didn't have a piece of paper until 2016 that clarified this by the United States Supreme Court. It's called the Military Justice Act, which specifically says military law, court, and personnel are separate from civil law, court, and personnel. So that's the definitive line. Then the Law of War Manual, a new Law of War Manual for the Department of Defense, was released June the 12th, 2015. Donald Trump rolls down the escalator 4 days later. What are the coincidences of that? So when you put all those together, and then you look at Article 2 of the Constitution, back in World War II, now Donald Trump said in March 2020, this is where that line was drawn in March 2020, he specifically said we're in a different war, but a same scenario as World War II. All right, so you have to know what happened in World War II. In World War II, Franklin Roosevelt told Congress, he didn't ask Congress, he told Congress, it is my duty as Commander-in-Chief of the Army and the Navy to protect the Constitution. And so he told them, well, Congress gave him power to restructure the executive branch to do what? To declare war by the presidency. It became known as the First and Second War Powers Act. So via the First and Second War Powers Act, that turned into 50 United States Code, which is called War and National Defense. There's multiple chapters. So under 50 U.S. Code, or United States Code, Chapter 33, Section 1541, the president can declare war via national emergencies. Well, Donald Trump declared 10 national emergencies from December 2017 to March 2020. But where it became a wartime president situation, he put out Executive Order 13912. He signed that into law. It federalized 1 million National Guard to active duty. That's a direct military order. That's when it became a military separate from federal. So that became a military order. The other thing he did that's never been done before, in Executive Order 13919, he made the Secretary of Defense have equal authority. Normally the Secretary of Defense is up under him. He gave the Secretary of Defense equal authority to federalize the National Guard to active duty as well. Well, the only person who can federalize the National Guard to active duty is the president. That's 10 United States Code 12406. Donald Trump gave that order. Therefore, he still has that command. And also in 50 United States Code, Chapter 34, it also shows you the only person who can terminate that national emergency is the president. Now, there's other national emergencies that have transferred, like presidents have used, and it went to the next president. This was different. This was a military order. And the National Guard have been out of their state jurisdictions every single day since that order, and I have those pictures documented in my documents, and then also on Facebook on 1776 Nation. I just dumped 1,400 pictures this about 2 days ago of nothing but National Guard, and also all of the law war manual countries, also the Abraham Accord countries, and also the other pacts we have with Canada and Mexico. All those aircraft are in and out of our nation every single day. It's a beautiful sight, but people can't see it until they read those laws and orders, and then you'll be able to see it. But it's right. They laid it right in front of everyone. Now, Donald Trump did say in 2016, never again will be voiced to the public what's going on with our military, because if you find out, guess who else finds out? But other than that, they put it out there optically. And then the other thing, simultaneous, really quick, are the federal continuity directives. There's 2 federal continuity directives. One was issued January 17, 2017, 3 days before he took office, and then June 13, 2017. They clearly show that our 3 branches of government are under a continuity of government. So Congress, the courts, everybody are under a continuity of government. But when he became a wartime president, what puts the cherry on top is all the media. So all your FCC-regulated everything, all those media are under what they call war powers of the president, 47 United States Code 606, which is a code specifically for the president. He can control TV, internet, broadcast, and also closing of government facilities. Well, that's why you saw a fence go around the Capitol building. It's also why you saw a fence go around the Federal Reserve building in late 2022. So everything's been put right in front of everybody by law and order. It's just a matter of will they go read it or not.
It's an interesting take on this for sure. We're talking with Derek Johnson, the creator of the 1776 Nation. You can find online thedocuments.info. You can see all the documents that you laid out here, and you laid out a really interesting case. And Derek, we got to take a hard break here in just about 30 seconds. Can you stick over one more segment with us?
Absolutely.
Awesome, because I want to continue on this, and the main question that I have, and we'll do this when we come back here, is kind of the teaser, but if this is the case, and if all of these executive orders were taken in action by President Donald Trump at that time, and everything has happened, then is he still the president? And if that's the case, then, looking at the current state of affairs, him being on the campaign trail, running for another term, where does that fit in with everything right now? And what would we do about a scenario like this if this comes to fruition in a transition of power? We'll do some of that when we come back here to wrap up the program for the last few minutes here on The Voice of Reason on a Friday. Stay here.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Andy Hooser here, reminding you not only can you listen to The Voice of Reason on your favorite radio station, but also check out the video of the program on TV and online. We're excited to be working with our partners over at OpsLens to bring The Voice of Reason live every day on their website at opslens.com, on the OpsLens app that you can download on any of your smartphones, or on any of the OpsLens social media. It's a great network that broadcasts multiple shows promoting truth, reason, and common sense, reaching thousands of viewers every day, all day long. Plus, while you're there, you can always watch some of the best highlights of the show during the weekends or read our latest opinion columns on topical issues of the day. Also, if you want to interact with me during the program, just leave a comment on their social media or the OpsLens app stream. You can always join the live chat rooms, or if it's easier, just email me at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, that's HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com. This is your show, and we want to hear from you. Why? Because it's time for you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You want some more reason throughout the day? Well, now it's easier than ever to find. Here's what you do. Check out the website at HooserReason.com. There you can find past shows, links to all of our social media, special features, our monthly blogs, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to check in frequently, as we're constantly working to add more goodies that you'll really enjoy. Also, you can always subscribe and follow our social media sites for bonus content, articles that we use on the show, or maybe some additional rants. Yeah, it's all that and so much more. Check it all out at HooserReason.com. Looking for more Reason? Well, now you can get even more content from the Voice of Reason through our Patreon site. It's your exclusive membership for being the ultimate Hoosier-holic. On our Patreon, you'll get additional interviews and content that we don't get to air on the radio, behind-the-scenes action from the Hoosier Media Network, plus one-on-one video streams where you can catch up with me, guests of the show, and other great Voice of Reason supporters. Plus, you can also support the show by checking out our gear and swag. Find the link on our website at HoosierReason.com. Again, that's HoosierReason.com. Become the ultimate Hoosier-holic. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. As we continue to grow as a radio and TV program, we're continuously working behind the scenes to try and bring more common sense and reason to more patriotic Americans all over the country. That's why we're super excited to be working with the OpsLens team to bring you the Voice of Reason every single day. OpsLens is a national online network bringing you incredible content all day from hosts all over the country. And each host brings their own unique experience and expertise to the current events, reaching hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans daily. Make sure to check out their website at opslens.com. Make sure to download the OpsLens website and follow them on all of the social media sites that you like so you can watch all their live streaming content, including ours right here with the Voice of Reason. Plus, if you want more of the Voice of Reason, check out our website online at HoosierReason.com. There you can listen to the live audio feed of the show every single day. You can read our monthly blog. You can check out our satire infomercials. You can see pictures of what we're doing, upcoming schedule of events, and a heck of a lot more. On the website, you can find our list of radio and TV affiliates in your area. Find our social media links, and while you're there, sign up for our free newsletter. Over the last 2 years, your Voice of Reason newsletter has grown exponentially. It's completely free, and in it, we give you your monthly motivation, upcoming civic holidays for the month, a recap from the show from last month, upcoming guests on the program, along with the latest news from our Hoosier Media Network. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is go to the website at HoosierReason.com and become the next Hoosier-holic. Finally, follow us on all of our social media sites. With the iron grip control on content from the radical left, unless you follow us, you're not going to be able to see us. It's been an ongoing battle with shadow banning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, where even our own fans are having a hard time finding our content. But the battle isn't over. We'll continue to bring you the best content we can on as many platforms as possible. You can follow us with the handle at Hoosier Reason. No matter what social media site you like to use, you can find us there. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch.tv, Instagram, TikTok, ourfreedombook.com, Parler, and of course our website at HoosierReason.com. Don't miss it while we give you a heads up on some of the events that I may be attending or speaking at, updates of behind-the-scene projects, or just something sarcastic to try and rile up the left. The battle for freedom is real, and we want to be part of that battle as we want you to be your own voice of reason in your own community. Conservative principles happen at the grassroots level, and that's what we're here to help with. And together, you and I can fight back against this virus that's spreading across the nation that is socialist policy, trying to destroy this country. We can bring us back to some constitutional values, some individual sovereignty, and the right for you to be able to make your own choices when you deem necessary for you, your family, and your community. In a world of fake news and information overload, it's time to bring back some reason, common sense, guidance, and a little bit of wisdom. And that's what we're here to do. This is the Voice of Reason.
Fighting for freedom every day. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
She's a real cool kind of hot. Yeah, real cool kind of hot.
Helps if I turn on my microphone. Welcome back into the program. Last few minutes here of the show for a Friday today. We're hanging out with Derek Johnson, country music artist, songwriter, and the head of the project known as the 1776 Nation, Ways to Save America, as a lot of information was dumped in that last segment. We're definitely going to need some more time, which means we may have to get Derek back on the program because I have a lot of questions, Derek, and I appreciate the time and all the info. So first off, I want to ask the kind of the obvious question here is, as you mentioned at the beginning, is that according to these executive orders, these laws that were passed under Trump and the way things were done, that you said he's still technically the president. And if that's the case, I know that there's been claims and predictions on when Trump was going to essentially walk back into the White House and Joe Biden would be arrested and all the crimes that the federal government was doing. And like you said, the Guantanamo Bay tribunals and everything. Why haven't those happened yet, I guess is the question.
Yeah, that's a great question. And two, the other thing, I think a lot of times whenever people are talking and they haven't had any experience in the military, they don't understand a controlled operation. And a lot of people, it is a free market, unfortunately. So a lot of people have a voice out there, and they get out there and they do a lot of things prediction-wise to get people to run over and buy something right off their platform.
Yeah.
I feel like God just allowed me to fulfill my service beyond my service. My service time was cut short. I now know what he was preparing me for, so I have no predictions. I just go by law and order every single day, and then also by the optics that are given to us. The optics are very key, and that's what I've been trying to teach Americans is, look, you still got to live your day, every day of your life, whatever you do, whatever you like, whatever you love, you got to do that, but also take what's given to you. So I just go by, I call him boss man without any disrespect, but CIC Trump's speeches, like his CPAC speech, he's followed up with a lot of what we call optics. He has mentioned that we're going to put our beautiful flag on the surface of Mars, which is Military Auxiliary Radio System, and that's the emergency communications, and you'll find those in the federal directives. So I don't know when they're going to pull the triggers. I do know that the tribunals are coming June and July. I don't know if those will be visual for the people yet or if they're going to wait and hold those off. Not sure of the timing, but I just wanted to show you one really quick thing, though, another visual that they get right in the military, because I'm an Army veteran, so shout out Hooser out there, but also other veterans, thank you for what you did. But on January 20, 2021, when the whole world, we're talking about 7.5 billion people, thought they witnessed Joe Biden be inaugurated, let me show you something. This is military regulations. They don't get these wrong. All presidents' inaugurations are the 3rd Infantry ID by the Army. They use 4 cannons. It's also the Army who performs the ceremonies, the funeral ceremonies of the president. They use 3 cannons. On January 20th, 2021, when the whole world thought that Donald Trump rode off into the sunset from Joint Base Andrews, he had both Air Force Ones present with him. Biden did not receive the traditional ride-in on Air Force One. Both Air Force Ones were present. There were 4 cannons with Donald John Trump. When the whole world thought they witnessed Biden have an inauguration, why were there 3 cannons? A 3-volley salute, which is a funeral. It's not a salute. It's not to be confused with a 21. It's a 3-volley. That's for funeral services. The whole world, you can go watch it. CBS, CNN, all of them still have it up. 3 volleys there. The Army has 4 and 8 years to get that correct. They did not get that wrong that day. Everything is optics for everybody to see. So you're watching that. The other thing, Donald John Trump, Space Force, established December the 20th, 2019, the same day the Uniform Code of Military Justice was reissued. He had also changed court-martialing. He had also done a lot of other things via the military paperwork, but when you look at those things, the Space Force, there's 2 words that Biden has never stuttered out of his mouth. That's the Space Force. Well, when August and December 2022, guess what happened? The Army and the Navy transferred all communications to the Space Force to be under one command. They also just transferred all of our ground missile warning systems over to the Space Force. So there's a lot of optics out there for people to see that clarify all these things happening. You just, once again, have to know what you're reading and what you're hearing, and then know what laws and orders those are.
It's definitely, Derek, we're out of time, I'm afraid. It's an interesting take on this for sure, and if this is the case and if this is happening, then I hope it happens. There's so many more questions I want to ask you. Derek, we're going to have to get you back on the program and do this again. What do you say, brother?
I would love to. I love Wichita, too, by the way.
Hey, I love it. Next time you come out here, we're going to get you in studio, and we're going to have to come watch you perform, so you're going to just have to come out here and do a show out here in Wichita, Kansas. What do you think?
I can do that for you, just for you.
Hey, there we go. I love it, brother. It's Derek Johnson. Go check it out, thedocuments.info, thedocuments.info. 1776 Nation. It's Derek Johnson. We appreciate that. That does it for us today. Podcast's up in a bit. We'll see you on the radio on Monday. Have a great weekend. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.